Halloween nightmare in Cleveland. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of allbengals.com, where the Bengals, well, they got beat down by the Browns, 32-13 here at First Energy Stadium on Monday night. It was ugly. They never led. In fact, they didn't even score until the fourth quarter, trailing 25-0 at one point. And, well, the Bengals fall to 4-4 on the year, 0-3 in the division, and they've lost 5 straight against the Cleveland Browns. Look, this game, really from the get-go, was ugly, and the Bengals, they did start sort of fast on the first 8 plays of their offensive possession, in the first offensive possession. The first 8 plays went well for 54 yards. And then a batted pass by Myles Garrett gets intercepted by A.J. Green. Yes, there's an A.J. Green on the Browns, for those that don't know. And boom, this offense just hit a lull. And it wasn't just a little lull. It was a let's not score for the first 7 possessions of the game lull. And by then the game was already over, because this Bengals defense, well, as good as they've been all year, they weren't good tonight. And they weren't good mostly in the third quarters when things really went off the rails. Part of that could be Chidobe Awuzie, who left the locker room with his right knee in a thick brace on crutches. Doesn't look good. And Zach Taylor added that. Really hope that it doesn't look as bad, or it isn't as bad as it looks for Cheeto. But certainly looks like it could be a very serious right knee injury for him. In this Bengals defense, they held the Browns to 11 points in the first half. But then, first possession of the third quarter, the Browns drive downfield, take an 18-0 lead. Then they score again, and now the game's over. It's just over, especially with the way this offense was playing. Joe Burrow sacked 5 times. They really struggled to push the ball down the field. Burrow averaged like 6.6 yards per attempt, and really, outside of a 41-yard touchdown to T. Higgins when the game was over, struggled to get the ball downfield. And look, some of that was anticipated. You could, with Jamar Chase, think that was going to happen. At the same time, this offense should have been better. And all you had to do was pay attention to what was going on in Cleveland up to this game, whether it's sports radio, whether it was the fan base, whether it was the media covering the team. This team was just awful. People were out on the Browns, and they were out on their defense, and they were out on the idea that this Browns team could win games this year and make a push like they were expecting them to do at the start of the year. Well, I said it coming in. This is going to be a desperate Browns team, and they played desperate, and their best player made plays. Myles Garrett, multiple sacks, had the tip that turned into the interception, which really derailed the Bengals' first drive, but knocked the Bengals all out of rhythm. Sione Takitaki had the fumble, the forced fumble on Joe Burrow. It was just little breakdowns on offense that led to big plays for the Browns, right? Whether it's a blitz pickup, whether it's just blocking Myles Garrett, which Jonah Williams struggled to do. Huge issues for this Bengals team. And the offense just struggled. They couldn't run the ball effectively. They certainly weren't throwing the ball great, even though you look at Burrow's line and it looks pretty good. 25 of 35, 218, and 2 touchdowns. It's pretty good. But a lot of that, 41 yards to T, 13-yard touchdown to Tyler Boyd, both of those came in the fourth quarter when things were really out of range. And let's be honest here, special teams struggled tonight too. Kevin Huber with a 23-yard punt early in the game, just ridiculous. Evan McPherson missed a 47-yard field goal, also missed an extra point, and that could have been because of a botched snap, or a high snap. It wasn't botched snap, but a high snap that Kevin Huber got down in time, but I think the operation might have been a little messed up. Point being, there were a lot of issues tonight, and there weren't many positives to take away from this game. And it's one of those things for this Bengals team. They need to find a way to not let the game script dictate everything on offense. Because just because you get down doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to find big plays, doesn't mean you can't find ways to not just claw back, but come back. The Bengals have clawed back into a lot of games this year. Tonight they didn't do that, but for some reason, game script really impacts this team and has impacted the Bengals against the Browns. In fact, Joe Burrow, his last 3 games against Cleveland, has thrown an interception on the first drive of the game. It wasn't Burrow's fault tonight, not saying that, but it's something that happened. And so that is just, it's wild. It's wild. And like I said, people here in Cleveland were not expecting a win today. I used to work up here. It's no secret. I was talking to former coworkers. They're like, oh, man, they're going to roll. They're going to roll. I was like, I said 23-20 Bengals, but I said it was going to be tough. And the Browns played like I thought they were going to play. It's just this Bengals team didn't show up. They didn't show up. They didn't play at the level that you were expecting them to. And then you're dealing with injuries on the back end. And so this team, they're going to have to figure it out, and they're going to have to make some decisions. You know, Mike Thomas struggled, had a big drop as the offense was trying to get going. Who's this team's wide receiver for? With the trade deadline less than 24 hours away now, it's Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Honestly, I think they need to be in on the receiver market. I think they need to be in probably on the cornerback market because they had Cam Taylor-Britt on one side, Dax Hill on the other at the end because Trey Flowers went down with a hamstring. Eli Apple was already out with a hamstring, and then Chidobe Awuzie going down. So they're going to need to potentially add something here, and I think they should. And we'll see if they do that, but ugly loss for the Cincinnati Bengals. Certainly the ugliest of the season. You know, because they didn't have that counter punch. When they were down 18-0, they didn't go down and score. When they were down 11-0, they didn't get points at the end of the half. I mean, Akeem Davis-Gaither recovers a fumble, and it feels like, and they ruled it a fumble, felt like an interception. Regardless, turnover at the end of the first half, and it's like, oh, okay, go get 6 here or 8, and you feel pretty good. And instead they had to settle for a 47-yard field goal, and McPherson missed it. I mean, it was that kind of night, and sometimes you have those nights. But for the Bengals, they couldn't afford it. Now they're 4-4, a game back of the Ravens in the AFC North. And not only that, the Ravens hold the tiebreaker. And not only that, the Bengals are 0-3 in the division. It's tough. It's a tough hole to dig yourself out of, but that's the reality that the Bengals are facing now with the Carolina Panthers right around the corner on Sunday at Paycor Stadium. We'll have plenty of coverage of the trade deadline right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. And if you missed it, we had Joe Mixon, Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Mike Hilton. The Mike Hilton video is dropping Tuesday morning. So if you're watching this late Monday night, early Tuesday morning, like in the wee hours, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., Mike Hilton will drop as well. So a ton of videos for you here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. We're here for you, win, lose, draw. Remember that. Hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell. And for Andrew Fox Miller, our channel coordinator, I'm James Rapien signing off now on CBT, Cincinnati Bengals Talk.